Hello, sexy people. Happy October, happy Halloween, depending on when you're watching this. If you are interested to find out what you should be for Halloween based on hidden qualities, traits, sides of yourself, then this is the perfect reading for you. I'm going to make suggestions, and I'm also going to list extra suggestions in the description box below. So definitely feel free to check that out if the ones that I give in the reading don't satisfy you. I really hope you enjoy this. Here is group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, and group 5. I want you to choose a stack that you gravitate to the most, the stack that attracts you the most. And once you have chosen, you can jump into the timestamps in the description box below. As mentioned, you're also going to find like extra suggestions and stuff like that. I'm also going to kind of summarize the hidden traits and sides of you that I was getting from your reading in the description box below. So definitely check that out. I would love to hear your comments and your feedback. And only take the messages that resonate and leave the rest, as always. It's always going to be that way. And I'm going to say that over and over again because some people still don't get it. Some messages are going to be for you. You'll know right away which ones are, I promise you. Your conscious mind is going to act like a gatekeeper, so it's not going to take messages that aren't for you. So if that's something that you're worried about, don't be. But yeah, feel free to pause the video if you need more time. By the way, this deck of cards that I am using with the snakes and the beautiful black background is called the Mary L. Tarot. I will list all of the decks in the description box below if you're interested, but this is interesting because it's modeled after the original Rider-Waite deck, but the meanings are a little different and kind of skewed a little bit. It's very interesting though. You'll see with the artwork. I'm excited to share this deck with you. But yeah, if you enjoy this reading, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I would really love to know also what you want to be for Halloween this year. So feel free to share that down below and tell me why you chose that costume. Hey group 1, happy October, happy Halloween if you're watching this on Halloween. So let's take a look at your hidden qualities and what that might mean for your Halloween costume or what you should be for Halloween. Of course, only take the messages that resonate and leave the rest. I wanted to kind of do this as a little fun reading so we can see what kinds of costumes would be really good for you this Halloween. Not only for fun, that's definitely a huge part of this reading. I want you to have fun, especially if you're someone who likes to dress up for Halloween and you have an event to go to dress up for Halloween, maybe a party. Definitely have fun, but the way that role-playing works is when we put ourselves in the shoes of another character, we literally take on their energies. So dressing up in a certain Halloween costume could literally uplift you out of certain ruts or literally break down certain stuck energies that you have been dealing with. Does that make sense? So for you specifically, you have the Four of Wands and the Four of Cups. So this is number 4 foundations. Next to each other, though, this tells me that there is a sense of uncertainty and maybe boredom. You feel like there's a sort of missing piece in your life and you're not exactly sure how to get that missing piece, where to find it, how to fill that hole. There's something that you have so many things in your life to be grateful for, but there's just that one thing that feels like it's missing. And I feel that this is a part of your energy, a part of what's missing in your energy, maybe something that you still haven't yet discovered and that you will discover. But always take the messages that resonate and leave the rest as we go forward in this reading. Some qualities that I mention might be for you and some might be for others, so keep that in mind. But look how you have 2 tree symbols. You have that with the Four of Wands and the Tower card with the lightning and kind of starting a fire at the top of the tree. So you have very 2 prominent tree symbols and both with fire. This tells me that you're probably someone who has strong fire in your chart, maybe sun, moon, rising, or possibly even in your Venus. But regardless, if you don't, you have this sense of passion, you want to express yourself in a passionate way, there is something that perhaps you have been reserved in or holding back in, holding yourself back in. I feel that you're kind of bored. You're kind of bored of the same thing, and I think you want to reinvent yourself. So with the playfulness coming through as the Page of Wands from the Osho deck tarot, and the stress card with the Seven of Wands, some of you like who are okay with this and who are feeling called to do this could literally be dressing up as the Joker for this Halloween, or like Harley Quinn type of energy. You could be doing like drag this year. Even if you're straight, maybe that's something that you want to do for fun. Don't feel like just because you want to dress up as a drag that makes you like homosexual or something. And I think it could be a way for you to kind of work through a lot of those preconceived notions maybe that you have of like that whole community. Possibly that could really help you kind of move through some of those blocked energies, because again, those blocked energies can literally be expressed indirectly or directly regarding our issues, and they can also be healed in the same way. It's almost like eating away at something. Does that make sense? Or like breaking down something little by little, chipping away at something. And I feel like this will kind of help you as you kind of experiment with new energies. Don't be afraid that just because you're dressing up as something different than you would normally accept, that this means that you're that kind of individual. I think that putting yourself in the shoes of, say, like the Joker, Harley Quinn, or dressing as a drag queen, or like wearing the costume of a devil, or like a sexy devil, with the vinyl pants and the really cute vinyl top or something like that. Don't think that just because you're dressing up as that means that that's who you are. I think it's just an expression of those hidden parts of yourself that could definitely use just this one day or this one night to express itself positively. Because yes, you do have that part of you inside of you that wants to express itself, but maybe you feel shamed about it. For some of you, like, I'm not necessarily getting a clear indication of what that is. There just seems like something that you're suppressing, and in most cases it's a good thing to suppress like negative thoughts and negative tendencies and stuff like that, and to be more stoic. That's great, like for the majority of our lives, like 99%. But because you have this one day and you actually have this opportunity to dress up, and maybe you're feeling inclined, I think going the opposite spectrum and really experimenting with your dress is going to be really helpful for you and releasing those stuck energies. So this is the longing card. It's about nostalgia. It's about desire, wanting. With the Four of Cups here, it definitely gives me a strong energy of being unsatisfied with something in your life, and dressing up as something more, I guess, out there and more kind of sexy, mysterious, seductive, fiery. Like I said, I was getting like images of vinyl pants, like that really shiny leather that like hugs your curves. You could have like a dominatrix costume, possibly also Lucifer. I know that's like so taboo for other people with really, really strict religion, or really, really strict religious beliefs. But if you're a modern person, which I'm assuming I'm talking to a modern person who celebrates Halloween and dresses up, I think that, even if you kind of feel hesitant to dress up at certain things, like the devil obviously has so much taboo around him and around the whole concept, just this once, I think it'll help you kind of understand the energy. And I don't ever want to influence you to do something that you shouldn't do or don't want to do, so only take the messages that resonate. There are other costumes, if you're against dressing up as a devil, for instance, that would literally have the same effect, like the Joker, Harley Quinn, like a dominatrix, like a jester, a fool, or something. I'm seeing a lot of black and a lot of the shiny leather type of look. But yeah, I think it'll help you find more stability if you kind of take on this more mischievous energy. All right, so that's all I'm getting for you. I hope you enjoy your Halloween. All right, group 2. So let's see what you should be for Halloween based on your cards and the hidden qualities that are wanting to come through for you. So firstly, I am getting the sense that you're sad about something. Maybe you're depressed. Maybe you're feeling like something just isn't lining up. I think that you're possibly uncertain, or you're not feeling super confident about something deep inside. And this is not something that you show people or you tell people readily. I think that maybe, especially if you're feminine, you are feeling disempowered in some form. You do have the Empress there and the Queen of Wands coming through as creativity and sharing. So maybe you're an artist, some sort of artist, maybe a painter. I was getting Frida Kahlo vibes with the Queen of Wands there all the way to the right. But you could be Frida Kahlo, a famous painter, or something like that. You can go to a Halloween party, especially if you have an event to go to where you have to dress up. You can literally go in there as a painter, as an artist. Maybe wear like overalls with paint all over it, and maybe bring like a paintbrush, tuck it behind your ear or something like that. So these are more like light type of costumes, but basically what I'm getting for you is essentially being something for Halloween that'll resemble what you want to be in your like highest aspirations and dreams. The cat card on the bottom represents being two-faced, or some kind of falsehood, some kind of mask. And then on the bottom right is a card about melancholy and depression. So it feels like there's something where you're kind of wearing, I guess, a mask maybe in your daily life. And so I think dressing up and using this opportunity of Halloween to really align with what you want to be. For most of you, you're probably women and females watching this. So like literally dressing up as your dream career, or your vision of yourself in your highest potential, is going to be the best case scenario for you this Halloween, so that you can make use of this holiday and use it to grow yourself in the best possible way. So some of you, again, you want to be a professional artist. How does a professional artist dress? Some of you want to be like a corporate or a business person. Then you wear a suit. Maybe you wear a really beautiful suit with high heels, and you like do your hair in a sleek back outfit. Look how you have creativity and sharing here, and like these very powerful feminine figures. Now, if you're a masculine, I'm definitely getting that you probably are some sort of musician, or you want to be a musician. So you could do like a rock star type of vibe. Like I guess Machine Gun Kelly kind of situation, where he's painting his nails and he is wearing these eccentric out there clothing, lots of colors. Like there was this one look that he did where he wore pink. Typically pink is associated with like a girl or a female or a woman, but because he's so comfortable with his feminine energy, he's able to do these looks. And same thing with David Bowie, with Mick Jagger. Like, you know what I mean? Like dressing as a rock star, essentially, I think could be really good for those males and masculine who are watching this and who have like an event to go to and a party to go to. Those are just some things that I'm getting for you. But yes, you're definitely at this point in your life, especially if this is resonating with you. As always, only take the messages that resonate and leave the rest. But you're certainly at the point in your life where I think you're feeling a mismatch between what you're doing and what you actually want to do. And using this day to kind of close the gap between those two things of what you are right now and where you want to be is really going to be helpful for you, especially if you have a party to go to where you're surrounded by people that you love being around, or even people that you don't even know. Like dressing up as someone that you've always wanted to be, an idol of some sort, especially if you're an artist, can be really, really great for you. But even if it's not about art, I think that kind of, again, closing the gap between who you are and who you've always wanted to be, and using this day to role play that situation or that ideal without any shame or embarrassment or humiliation or what have you, or any guilt even, is going to be a great thing for you to do, and it's going to be fun. Like for me, I don't really dress up for Halloween. I haven't dressed up in a long time, but I'm feeling slowly but surely, that I kind of want to like start enjoying that part, like enjoy dressing up as someone else and role playing and kind of allowing like our alter egos to come out, at least in special days. But yeah, I think that this will be like an opening opportunity for you, for sure. Like I would love to see you dressed up as who you've always wanted to be. For others of you, it's like a high priestess type of vibe, like a sexy goddess even. It's weird because you can also do like a Virgin Mary type of costume. I know it's kind of horrible because it's like certain things shouldn't be appropriated, I guess you could say, but it's, I don't know, I think you get a get out of jail free card on Halloween. Like I don't really subscribe to the idea that we should be taking it so seriously all the time. Like I don't think they would actually care, like passed on iconic figures or role models or ancestors. I don't think that they actually care that if we as modern humans kind of embodied their dress, embodied their image, at least for the time being. Does that make sense? I don't think it's disrespectful. But I feel like this will open you up. Like I'm definitely curious what you think you should be that is aligned with who you've always wanted to be. Do you have a favorite musician, for instance? A favorite figure that you know has a specific, I guess you could say, standard way of dressing or a standard way of styling themselves in their hair? I think that this would be great for you. Like some of you love Marilyn Monroe or Ariana Grande, Frida Kahlo, some of the images that I was getting. Anything like this I think could be really awesome for you. Hey group 3, welcome to this reading. So let's see what you should be for Halloween, just for fun. Of course, you're going to do what you want to do anyway, but if any of these things that I say kind of ring true to you, I think you should give them a shot. It's Halloween, it's fun, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, this is a little bit controversial because I am getting an energy of social and economic classes. Some of you are wealthy, you come from a wealthy family, you have wealthy ancestors, maybe your grandpa owned like a successful business and your father inherited some funds, and so you're living a cushy life. Some of you are actually like lower to middle class and you would like to be rich. So if you would like to be rich, I really think that you should dress up as a rich person, or you should dress up as a really, really poor person. I say that because I'm reading this more from an alchemical transmutation sort of point of view. While I want to keep in mind like having fun and everything like that, I want to relay to you certain energies that I'm feeling that'll help you break free from certain maybe stereotypical thinking that, you know, it's normal, we all have it, but it helps to move forward beyond those types of thinking if it's already done its job and it's time to move on. It's time to transform the way that we think about certain things or people or groups or ideas, right? So like if you're super wealthy, I think it'll be really funny for you and interesting and fun and light, but also enlightening to dress up as the complete opposite class. And this is why I say it's controversial, because I know it can be offensive, especially in certain groups. But if you're in a private party or something, like I don't see the problem unless you're surrounded by snakes who are going to take photos of you and then use it against you later on the line. But if it's just for fun, like dressing up as a normal person, kind of simplifying your outfit and wardrobe, even if you don't have a party, just changing the way that you dress, especially if you're super glamorous, for instance, I think could be really, really interesting for you to kind of take on that different energy and let it transform you in a positive way. It's not going to change you. It's Halloween. It's not that serious, but I think it'll really bring more wisdom. Does that make sense? I hope so. Now, for those of you in the opposite class, like dressing up as the class that you want to be and aspire to be is going to be really interesting for you. I know it's going to be difficult, especially if you don't have the budget for it, for instance, but like put together like a costume or something. You don't even have to spend a whole lot of money for it, but like taking like an extra effort or putting in extra energy to look differently, to look more, I guess you could say, upper class, could be really helpful. Pearls could be a thing that you could do, like buy some fake pearls, wear your best dress, and pretend that you're having mimosas at a golf club or something, at a prestigious golf club. I feel like I sound like an a-hole, but yeah, I'm getting like princes, butlers, queens, princesses types of vibe. Very, very wealthy people. Pearls, gold, jewelry. Kind of like glam girls kind of energy. So again, only take the messages that resonate and leave the rest. Now for the opposite spectrum, I'm getting like maids. For this, like the bottom left card is a servant card. It's about maids, service, being a butler, and then the bottom right is a letter. So it feels like some of you want to be served. You probably want to have a maid. You want to hire help. You want to have that luxurious lifestyle. You want to drive a nice car. So I think taking on that energy of those people that you've watched on reality shows, for instance, or in movies. I'm hearing Maid in Manhattan. So, you know, like the two women who were love interest of the main protagonist, or the male protagonist, they're very, like, vastly different. So I think that if you're super wealthy, dressing up as a maid, I think would be not only cute, yes, offensive in certain circles and some ways of thinking, but I don't find that offensive at all. Like, no one's gonna blame you for being rich. It's Halloween, let's just relax with the cancel culture BS. Obviously, don't be tone deaf. So if you're going to like a corporate party or something, you don't want to offend people, or you know what I mean? Just use your discernment. Some things are not good matches. Some costumes are not good matches in certain organizations and events. Also, I'm getting here Clueless. So you could dress up as I forget her name, but basically the main character from Clueless, or just a very preppy Harvard person or man or woman. I think this will be interesting, regardless of where you are in the economic ladder. So yeah, that's all I'm getting for you. Hopefully this resonated. Let me know. Hey Group 4, so let's see what I'm getting for you. For those of you who are tuning in right now, there are certainly very unique energies in this spread. First of all, I want to start off with those people who are in a serious relationship. If you're partnered up and you're in a serious relationship, either your relationship has ascended to a higher level or it is. And also, even if you're single, like if you're looking to manifest someone, this might be for you as well. But I'm getting specifically an image of a bride and a groom, basically wearing the traditional white gown with a tuxedo, but like dead. So it's almost like a death till do us part kind of vibe. You could do like a dead version or a zombie version. But specifically why I'm getting this is because of the two cards on the bottom right. So this is a card of union and a card of death. I feel like for those of you who are married or who have gotten married recently or maybe got engaged and will get married soon, I think this will solidify your marriage and strengthen your marriage and kind of put you in this consciousness of what's ahead. Because I feel that for a lot of you, you have worries about tying the knot. Look at the Four of Pentacles up there. It's like super tied up. And next to the Two of Swords, almost like a sense of freeing that up. So I think lightening up the situation by putting yourself in the shoes of a dead bride and groom, essentially with a love that lasts, technically, because if you're a dead bride and groom, you essentially died together, right? There's a sense of symbolism there. And I know it's like just for fun, but I think I like to use Halloween and certain holidays and stuff to help me transmute certain energies, because certain portals are more open in this or during this time period. Like the veil is obviously thinner. So like the way that you role play or the way you dress up for this holiday, I think is going to be quite powerful if you resonate with this reading. But if you're single, like I said, dressing up as a bride, especially for the females, is going to be really interesting and fun for you, especially if you dress up as a dead bride, because I think it adds that layer of lightness and also horror and Halloween type of vibe and energy. But it also kind of links you to what you want and what you're manifesting. Does that make sense? In addition, there's also this energy, like kind of building on or off from that, there's this energy of an ancestor, specifically like your grandparents or a passed on loved one, and dressing up as them when they were young. Does that make sense? So like back then the style was obviously different, and so dressing up as your passed on loved one and taking on that kind of vintage or older style this Halloween, I think will help you feel connected, because connection to your culture, where you came from, your ancestries, or not ancestries, your ancestor connection with them is really highlighted for the spread and for you, group 4. What I mean by that is, not only am I getting messages regarding your ancestors and your passed on loved ones, and like your elders and stuff like that, specifically I'm getting certain cultures. So American Indians, for instance, shamans, medicine men and women, Aboriginals, tribal leaders, chiefs. These are sort of energies that I'm getting, especially with the top left 2 cards. So some of you have likely been feeling disconnected from where you came from your culture, from your roots, and I think that this Halloween is a great time to kind of get in connected with that. Like, you can dress up as your ancestors, like if they have a very traditional sort of garment that you can't wear on a daily basis living in the modern world, I think this is a great opportunity for you to be able to do that. Like, some of us, we still have those traditional dresses and clothing that we only bust out in specific time or during specific holidays or events. But I think that this is a great time to bust that costume or bust that dress out that you don't normally wear. And I say that specifically because I am getting that you have a sense of disconnection with your culture, and I think it's actually causing a sort of energy leakage. So I'm not necessarily just talking about American Indians. So you could literally be dressed up as old American war heroes or American soldiers in World War II, World War I era, or especially if you're a male or masculine, dressing up as a man or a masculine in those areas. I think in those eras are going to be, I think, really interesting for you to kind of tune into those energies. Let's see what else I'm getting. Yeah, and a part of this is also, this energy is super interesting because it talks a little bit about the opposite side. So if perhaps you are from a minority or a oppressed group, I guess you could say, dressing up as sort of the image of the other side, quote unquote, the opposing side, the quote unquote enemy, I think is going to be really, really interesting for you and helping you transmute and move out of certain stuck energies. Like, for instance, if you are from a minority or a certain group that has been historically oppressed, dressing up, for instance, as a politician or like a tycoon or something, or a wealthy banker, or something along these lines of like dressing up as super wealthy, professional, powerful person in the olden days, is a really interesting energy for you to take on. So like I'm seeing suits, I'm seeing you dressed in the 9s, I'm seeing ties, maybe bow ties, and I'm seeing your hair kind of slicked back in a professional way. Even if you have long hair, you can like tie that in like a man bun and like put gel over it, sort of situation. I don't know if you guys watch Final Fantasy, what is that called? Advent Children, I think it's called. There's this character, I think he's called Renee. I forget the other guy's name, but basically Renee, like, he has long hair, but his hair still seems professional. He's wearing a suit all the time, kind of like that kind of vibe, like a little bit mischievous, a little bit troublesome, a little bit corrupt almost, but like powerful, I guess, in a worldly sense. Because look at here, you have 2 cards. I just got a clarifier. you got 2 cards with mask. It's almost like the sense of falling away of the false self, falling away of the mask, and revealing who you truly are. But there's also there's also like a sense of an opposing energy, because if you look to the left card, the mask that he was wearing was like super sweet and innocent, but behind the mask is actually a very mature, knowledgeable man, perhaps, who is potentially corrupt, because this is the 7 of Swords, and this card in this deck, the Osho Tarot deck, is depicted as a politician, like wearing like this innocent mask and not really being that innocent is what I'm getting. So yeah, only take the messages that resonate, but I think that kind of putting these kind of ideas and energies into what you're going to be in the future, or not in the future, but I guess maybe in like future Halloweens, or in this Halloween, I think that'll be super interesting for you and grounding, especially if you have American Indian or Indigenous or Aboriginal blood. Dressing up, especially because you have kind of a get out of jail free card with that, you know, because you can dress that way without offending people, because you have that ancestry and you're a part of that lineage. Does that make sense? And so I think it'll be actually really helpful for you to reconnect with that culture that perhaps you don't readily pay attention to because you're so modernized. I think especially if you're feeling depressed or kind of stuck, feeling scarcity in your energy, I think it has a lot to do with the disconnection from your roots. And I'm the same, like I'm super westernized and modern, and I haven't connected with my Filipino culture and my ancestry in a long time. Like we have certain traditional customs and dresses and foods which I haven't consumed in a long time, and I find that like consuming certain foods even, or again being in like in a traditional garment, is really super grounding sometimes, and it helps us remember where we came from, who we are. I think this is like kind of the message that I'm getting with you. But yeah, so just to conclude, a lot of energy here regarding connecting with your ancestors, your history, where you come from, some past family member, perhaps an ancestor that you have heard stories about, the way that they dressed when they were young. I think that could be a really interesting thing. A lot of people, you know, tend to dress up slutty and make light of a situation, but some people, I think, especially nowadays, I think they're moving more out of that. They're dressing more seriously, or they're taking the way that they dress for Halloween much more seriously and putting more effort into it. So I think that's super interesting for sure. But yeah, like it's what I'm getting, like connecting with your culture, connecting with your past. It doesn't even matter if you don't have indigenous blood. If you are like purebred European, or like a mutt or an American, like you have ancestors that you can dress up as, like soldiers. Like I said, again, your passed on grandparents, or maybe your grandparents are still alive, like dressing up as them when they were young. Maybe your grandparents have clothes that they've kept for a long time. Maybe they'll let you borrow it, especially if you have a specific event that you are really looking forward to, where you're going to be surrounded by your peers. I think this will be a really, really great time to kind of pay homage to that aspect of yourself, of your life, of your lineage. Yeah, that's really all I'm getting for you. Hopefully this resonated. Let me know what you think, and yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, and I hope you have a hoppy I guess hoppy. Maybe some of you want to be like a bunny or something, but maybe that's what you're thinking about. If that's you, then this is a confirmation. Let me know. But yeah, I hope you have a happy Halloween and enjoy your party. Bye. Hey Group 5, welcome to your reading. So let's have fun with this. Let us see what you should be for Halloween based on certain hidden aspects and sides of you that others may not easily notice, or maybe you don't share with others. Right off the bat, this is actually interesting because I said we should have fun, but right off the bat, let me know if this resonates with you, by the way. But it just seems like you're more serious than your peers. It's almost like you're wiser beyond your years. you're almost ahead of your peers or your classmates or your group of friends emotionally. And I think that you think of the world in a more mature way than they do. Like, maybe if you're friends, you're just like up for a good time, kind of do some silly things, I guess you could say, for the lack of a better term, or kind of just mess around and maybe like bash mailboxes or something while they're driving in a truck with a baseball bat kind of energy. You would much rather like pass on that, if that makes sense. Like you kind of like tend to pass on things that you don't believe in. You're not somebody who just hops on every trend or every bandwagon because your friend thinks it's cool and your friend thinks that you should do what they do. You're kind of your own person. You're independent. I think that you are introverted more than your other friends, for instance. Kind of like this energy of being a little bit different from the crowd. But like if you're in college or in high school or something, like you're definitely more introspective, I think, a little bit wiser. Again, like I said, wise beyond your years, with the moon and the Queen of Swords there. So this is interesting. I'll definitely get to your costumes in a little bit. I just want to kind of throw some energies at you that might resonate with you and kind of like paint a picture as to why I'm thinking the way that I'm thinking. You have inner voice and isolation. So this shows that you want to show a part of yourself that you might not be able to show easily. Maybe you feel unheard by certain groups. I feel that you think certain things that perhaps popular culture, for instance, or the majority won't necessarily agree with. For instance, maybe you're hyper aware of cancel culture right now. Maybe you're hyper aware of your peers believing certain things which you don't believe. Like, I've seen examples of this recently where a child didn't like what a very extremely liberal teacher was teaching. So he kind of talked to the teacher and the teacher kind of just gave him crap for his beliefs. Kind of this energy of you not falling into certain narratives and feeling defensive about that, feeling like you're outnumbered almost. And you kind of want to want to express that. So this is definitely an energy of, using Halloween as a way to express those inner thoughts and beliefs without necessarily getting so much crap for it. Because it's Halloween, it gives us an excuse to be someone we're quote unquote not, or to play the role of another character, to put ourselves in another shoe. A lot of people will just, buy whatever costume they like off of the catalog and then go to the party and whatever. But I think that this could be the beginning of a tradition for you where you start to really think about certain role models and characters that you've looked up to in your past or in your childhood. And maybe even within your family, if you have heroes that your family has been really close to. I feel that some of you have role models and heroes and figures that you've looked up to, especially when you were younger, that kind of fell away as you got older. Maybe because the culture changed, maybe because certain things stopped becoming more accessible. I think that this is a great time for you to kind of push the boundary and say, you know what, this thing is not offensive at all. This is what I want to be. It's Halloween. Let's not take it so seriously. But at the same time, I think it'll help you kind of embody the energy of the person that you wanted to embody but felt you couldn't. Of course, I'm going to tell you to have discernment. There are certain things that you shouldn't wear, certain things that are blatantly disrespectful and just tone deaf. You don't want to be like Justin Trudeau, who gets caught basically dressing up in blackface and is now getting crap for that. You know what I mean? You want to be, and I think you are. You have the moon and the Queen of Swords there. You're super smart. You're super keen. You know what you're doing. You're intelligent. You're already weighing the risks and benefits with certain things, but I think it'll really help you to express this part of you that hasn't been given the time of day, because again, I feel like you're afraid of what others will think. There are controversial issues, but at the end of the day, it's not going to hurt anyone if you really want to do it. I feel like some of you really want to dress up as something, but you feel like you can't. And I am not going to say anything super serious, although I already have certain ideas of what you can dress up as, is what I'm trying to say. But there is definitely a strong energy here of a father figure also. Some of you perhaps have a grandfather or a father figure that you really looked up to, a masculine figure that you really looked up to. I think dressing up as them could be really, awesome for you energetically, at least, and helping you kind of get in tune with certain parts of yourself and expressing that in the world, using this day, using Halloween, I guess, and this month. Some of you have ancestors who were World War II heroes or war heroes, or they were soldiers, and like you've always highly revered these people. It doesn't have to be a male or necessarily, like you could just have a figure in your family that you've looked up to. And I think dressing up as them, kind of similar to group 4, but dressing up as them or kind of embodying their energy this Halloween is going to be fun. Like you can still, dress up and have reverence for the character that you're dressing up as, but also have fun and like have a party and play beer pong and stuff. Like it doesn't have to be super serious. I don't want the messages to come off as that way. I just think that, it's more impactful than to dress up as a certain character that you admire. Also, for some of you, it's going to be super controversial, but like, hopefully you don't hate me for saying this, but some of you could benefit from wearing, like MAGA hats, Make America Great Again hats, because I think that you share certain conservative beliefs for some of you, but you're not easily able to kind of showcase or share those beliefs for the fear of being ostracized or bullied for them. So, I mean, this is a great time. Like, obviously, there are times where it's not appropriate. Like, there was this one story of people who were super on the left dressing up as Trump supporters during inappropriate times, basically as a means to deceive certain individuals. But because it's Halloween, because it's fun, maybe you're going to a party, I think this is a great time to kind of express that part of you, but without necessarily letting anybody know about it. If that makes sense. I know that sounds horrible for a lot of you, especially like the ultra liberals, but if it's not resonating with you, leave it alone. It's not for you. It's for somebody out there who's watching and who knows exactly what I'm talking about, because I can feel their energy and I can see that. But yes, for group 5, you're more like in tune. You're so wise. You're a mature energy. I think that you're an old soul. I think that your family perhaps compliments you or kind of tells stories about you, how you've always been like a super introspective, smart kid who's super curious about things. But yeah, look at this. Inner voice and isolation, High Priestess and the 3 of Swords. It seems like what you really think, what you feel in your heart is now not being accepted, and this is the perfect time for you to kind of express that part. You know what I mean? Like, it's the perfect day. Like, what better day to let go of that, like, isolating energy, the 3 of Swords energy, like swords through the heart energy, than this day. And, maybe those costumes are not super resonating with you, but let me just throw out some of the ones that I'm hearing for this group. Some of them are light, some of them are more serious. Like I said, you could do like a soldier, like a zombie soldier even, possibly. You can be a hospital patient. I know that's kind of silly, but there is a sickness card there. Like I said, you can dress up as your passed on loved ones as a young person, like how they were as a young person, if that makes sense. In their youth, you can dress up as your passed on ancestors and idols in their youth, if that makes sense. Some of you would make great private detectives for Halloween, I think that you have certain qualities, because look at this. You have the Watcher, which is the Queen of Swords here. You see that eye on the crow. And then the moon, like a very deep, mysterious energy, just super curious. Mysterious, talks about illusions. And I think that with the Queen of Swords next to it, you really want to clear some of those illusions. You want to shed light on the truth. So again, private detector, a spy, maybe even a journalist. You could dress up as a journalist, even like a modern journalist or something like that. Super interesting. Detective, private investigator, zombified soldier, World War II soldier. I don't know, this is a super masculine energy, but for the females, yeah, like you could dress up as a spy, like a sexy spy or something like that, a private investigator with like a trench coat kind of situation, and then do your hair in like a vintage way, you know, like with the waves and stuff. Like I'm getting like lots of classic vibes and images in terms of soldier and sickness. Like I'm definitely getting 1940s type of clothing, especially for the women, so vintage, even 1920s to 1940s. I think dressing up like this, if you're feminine, oh my gosh, I think this will be really great for you, because I was getting the fact that you are in fact a old soul. And I just noticed too that that's a black swan right there with the Father of Cups next to the Four of Wands. So something unorthodox too is a possibility for you. I think that could help kind of tune up your energy a little bit, because I think there are certain things that you want to express, like I said, that you're not able to express in your normal life with the way that you dress. Maybe your work doesn't allow for this. Maybe you just haven't put in the effort to dress up. But if you have an opportunity this Halloween to dress up, like you literally have to dress up, and you think it's appropriate for this event, appropriate for the organization, appropriate for the company, appropriate for the corporation, this is a great time for you to dress up, because I feel like some of you don't typically dress up. Like you're not the kind of person to celebrate Halloween, but some of you, like you have this opportunity where you're invited to something, or you literally have to go, and you're going to have to dress up. And I think this is a great opportunity for you to express those parts of yourself. Obviously, you don't want to wear a MAGA hat to an event where you know people are going to be super sensitive around that. But you know, if you think they'll be fine with it, you can kind of make a joke out of it. I know that sounds kind of like bad advice, but again, only take the messages that resonates and leave the rest. Don't do anything that you know is wrong, and I would check with the guidelines with that, because I know that there are certain guidelines and rules to follow with certain events and dress codes and things like that. So yeah, I think it'd also be funny to dress as a hospital patient. I know, like wearing like a hospital gown, I know it's super serious, especially with the pandemic and everything, but I just saw this hilarious video from the Inspired Unemployed, I think their name is. They're basically a comedy account on Instagram. I think they're called the Uninspired Unemployed, or Inspired Unemployed, or something like that. And they're like from Australia, and they did this video of them in hospital gowns getting the shot and then turning into zombies afterwards. So they made light of a serious situation, and I thought it was hilarious. And that's what I mean, like kind of adding a little bit of humor to a serious situation. But again, not everybody is going to laugh. Not everybody's going to think it's funny. I just think it could be a good thing to kind of lighten up your energy, especially if you have the opportunity, you know. I don't really think that you typically have this opportunity. Like, I feel that you want to dress up, you're feeling inclined to dress up, and I think this would be a good year for you to dress up. Like for me, I barely dress up. I haven't dressed up seriously for Halloween in a long time. But there's a part of me that wants to start dressing up again and kind of playing different roles, and I miss that. And so I do feel the energy shifting and me adjusting my personality and my life for that in appropriate ways. So I feel the same thing for you. Now, for others of you, the Moon and the Queen of Swords is like a badass female. I was getting this with another pile, but like dominatrix energy, again, like spy. You know Angelina Jolie in the movie Salt? kind of vibe, even like Lara Croft, Tomb Raider vibes possibly for you. Let's see what else. For some reason I'm hearing nurse, like a sexy nurse or something like that. I'm seeing a lot of black though, especially for the women. What is that one movie called with Scarlett Johansson? Her recent one. I forget her character. I haven't watched it. Is it like the Black Widow or something like that? Like her type of outfit is great for you. Spy kind of outfit. Special agent but sexy kind of outfit for the females out there. Let's see what else. Yeah, for some reason the Black Swan is giving me those sort of vibes. But also next to the Four of Wands is an energy of non-conformity and like an unconventional sort of way of living. Yeah, like I'm getting dominatrix vibes, honestly. I think that'll be good to kind of increase your libido. At least for some of you who that's resonating for. Kind of get you in tune with your sexuality and your lower chakras. I am feeling like a sense of lower chakras opening and being stimulated right now as I say that. Yeah, soldiers, special agents, anything else? I'm also getting like a political statement for some reason where you're showing a message of perhaps being censored, for instance. You know what I mean? Maybe like you have tape over your mouth or something like that. Like, I'm not super creative with this stuff. I think you're more creative than me. But yeah, like this energy like of wanting to express yourself in a way that you haven't been able to express yourself is going to be great for you this Halloween. Let's see, any final messages that I'm getting? Lots of blue water, interesting. And the eye is super prominent. So again, like, you could even dress up as Raven from the Teen Titans, possibly. Like dark, mysterious, sexy though, alluring. Almost dangerous, but also wise. Like Raven from Teen Titans. Possibly. Oh, I think that's it. That's all I'm getting for you guys. Let me see. Give me una momento. Oh my gosh, I'm just getting like a badass chick. I don't know if you guys seen I Am Number 4. But basically the character that Teresa Palmer plays, how she dresses, like that. It's sort of similar to Black Widow and Angelina Jolie in Salt. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that very powerful, feminine yet masculine woman who doesn't need a man or a hero to protect her kind of situation. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I'm getting for you. Group 5. Hopefully you enjoy this and hopefully you got some good ideas. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And maybe give me some insight of why these certain messages were coming through. Yeah. Oh, did I mention nurse? I don't know if you guys seen The English Patient. Like that kind of nurse type of vibe. Maybe some of you have had ancestors who worked as nurses back in World War II, maybe, or the Vietnam War or something like that. But for some reason, nurses are coming through super strongly for some of you, not all. But yeah, that is all I'm getting for you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you got some ideas. Enjoy your party, enjoy your Halloween. Bye.